reason why you see struggle with fornication is because you have not encountered God. When God visits you in the dream, the struggle we lost will end. And some persons are wondering sometimes, Pastor, is it possible to live a holy life? The reason you don't know holiness is because you have not met the holy God. When you meet him, your DNA will adjust. You will see a beautiful sister, you will call her sister, and you will not call her a woman. I tell you, when an encounter comes, it adjusts everything about you, and you become a different person. And that's why until you have that encounter, you don't have business with the mic. There is no need to be standing here with the mic when you have not encountered the Holy God. Anybody that is still struggling with lust, no matter his title, is not qualified for the pulpit. Are you with me? There is a place in prayer in God. After you encounter him, it is finished. Even you know that if the devil comes with a woman, you know it is finished. No man can overcome the temptation of a beautiful woman without the help of God. So God has to come and remove that appetite from you for you to be able to remain focused. And and God doesn't come without long fast. If you have never fasted for 3 months stretch, you cannot overcome lust. Any pastor that has never done fasting for like 3 months stretch, minimum, I can tell you is fornicating. He is fornicating or committing adultery. You cannot overcome, you cannot put this flesh under without fasting, because you are a human being. It is only fasting that put this flesh under. So you cannot actually become what you were created to be until you encounter Elohim that created you. Many times the reason why you struggle in life is because you think you are just a normal person. You don't know you are a vessel. Every one of us here, we are a vessel to either carry the Holy Spirit or carry demon spirit. You cannot be alone. One spirit must be working in you, from the devil or from God. No man can say God is not in me, Satan is not in me. No. We are what? A container. Are you with me? We are what? A container with a content to affect the continent, whether by darkness or by light. But we were fabricated to be a container of spirit. That's why after God made man, he breathed a spirit into him. And when you say you don't want that spirit of God, another spirit comes to take that place. But it cannot be empty, because nature abhors vacuum. The destiny that are fabricated for you, the reason why you are in this world, is not so that you will try to achieve that thing alone. It's so that you will submit yourself and constantly be conscious of your inadequacy. And this is the reason why you find yourself, you wake up on Sunday morning and you just say, today I don't feel like going to church. I want to watch Super Sport. I want to watch all the match they showed last week that I didn't have time to watch. You wake up on Sunday morning, I want to watch CNN, or I want to start watching movie. The reason is because you don't understand that the reason we serve God is, as we come to pray, we are coming to tell him that I cannot do it all by myself. So God is saying this: every mortal man no man can have a robust relationship with God when he is full of himself. You must get to the point where there is a section of your life where you have kept for God alone, and you, no matter what you are achieving, you tell yourself that I cannot do this without the help of God. And that will now sponsor, upon the strength of that understanding, it will now sponsor Luke chapter 18 verse 1. Quickly say that men ought always to pray. So men ought to pray, and that prayer is ought to be done always. Did you see that? Men ought to do what? Pray. How many times? Always. Why? This is Jesus. He came with the DNA of God. He is not a sinner. He has not done anything wrong. Are you with me? There's no generational curse that he is fighting. But he said men ought always to pray. Why is he saying so? He's saying so because as a man, you are supposed to constantly know that you are inadequate. What is your inadequacy? No matter how skilled you are, when Satan attacks, it takes the power of God to be able to overcome him. Are you with me? So on earth, Some point in your life, it will be spiritual power against spiritual power. Some things will happen before you finish your time. Every year, every single year, you must have a month where something will come into your space. It will be beyond your capacity. You will do all you can do, but it will be a spiritual problem. Are you with me? Now you need power to be able to overcome this power. So he said, I give you power over power. The beginning point to receive the power is to understand your inadequacy for the power, that you need the power that you don't have. Anybody that have not come to understand that he doesn't have power without God giving it to him does not qualify for the power. Are you with me? You see, you will never know God until you get to the point where you accept that you need God. The day where you tell yourself that I need God to become what I want to be, that is the day your Christianity begins. The reason why you are shaking and your Christian life is undulating vicissitudinally is primarily because you have not come to understand your inadequacy. Are you with me? Even as I'm preaching now, some persons don't understand what I mean by you coming to the point where you acknowledge your inadequacy, you acknowledge your insufficiency, where you come to understand that if Satan attacks me, I cannot overcome Satan. You have not convinced yourself that when your evil day comes, it will take the power of God to be able to overcome power. Are you with me? So Jesus said, I give you power over power. No man has the power over the power of darkness. When the power of darkness shows up, every man must surrender. Are you with me? It is when there is a superior power against the power that is coming against you, then the power will bow. So the call, what God is calling you to, is simply saying, come and receive power, so that when your evil day comes, you have power to overcome. And it's very simple. He's saying, accept that you need power. Accept that your intelligence is not enough. Because in this school of power, whether you went to school, you see, your school is not an advantage. Neither you're not going to school even an advantage. Are you with me? The power of God talks about the humility. Can you humble yourself? If my people that are called by my name will humble themselves and pray. So God sees prayer as humility. And Jesus said men ought always to pray and not to do what? Faint. So when you don't pray and when you don't fast, what happens? You begin to faint when the devil comes. He said when your strength fail in the day of trouble, your strength is small. Are you with me? Is somebody here with me? So what is the summary of what I'm sharing with you this morning? Christianity is power over power. When we gather here, we are coming to engage power over power. When I understand that, then church attendance becomes beyond my makeup. Are you with me? As I'm trying to make up, I know that I am not going for beauty pageant. I'm coming to obtain power. And when I see the way you dress to church, it tells me how far you are from the power of God. Are you with me? When I see the way you live your life anyhow, I know how far you are from the power of God. When men begin to draw closer to God, their life they begin to have self-imposed moral duties on themselves. You don't just do what you like. You begin to say, no, because of this presence of God that I carry, I must behave myself in a certain way. I don't know if you are getting me. Then you begin to carry yourself like that. When you begin to walk with God, there is one thing that you must become constant with, conscious of. Everyone that walks with God, God begin to place demand on them. Okay, you have to stop doing this now. You have to stop doing this now. And this demand will begin to call them into a deeper and richer walk with God. Are you with me? And when such people gather in this kind of place, and man of God is telling them that you cannot be living in fornication and be able to carry the power and the presence of God. When they hear that kind of message, instead of them to say, this pastor talked to me today, I will go back and begin to make adjustment, they would prefer not to hear that kind of message. Are you with me? Are you sure you are with me? They will prefer not to hear that kind of message, because that kind of message is not applying to their flesh. The Bible says in the last days, men will heap up those who will preach to them what they want to hear. That means they will select the church where it is what they want the pastor to say that the pastor should say. Are you with me? But Jesus said, Jesus was speaking to the disciples. When Jesus was done, the disciples said, did not our heart prick us within? Are you getting me? Why he spake the word unto us. How do you know the place you ought to worship? Is the place where the word is not aligning to your mind, but is aligning to your heart. As you are hearing the word, your heart is telling you, you need to adjust this. You need to change from this. Are you with me? Are you sure you're with me? Even if you have made up your mind not to change, are you with me? The church is supposed to be a place. As long as you have decided not to change, every time you go to church, at least you will hear the pastor telling you need to change. The church is not a place where you hear what you hear in your workplace. The church is a place where you are straightened up and called to order. Every time you go to church, you are reminded of how you ought to live. Even if you have decided not to change, but you know that when you come, you will hear something that will be calling you to the altar, calling you to change. We don't serve an unholy God. God's name has not changed. He's still El Elyon. He's still the Almighty God. He said, be ye holy, for I am holy. He has not changed. So if you have decided not to change, if you have decided not to become holy, no problem. But when you come to church, be comfortable with the pastor telling you need to become. I want you to pray. Please don't. If you want to pray, sit up and pray. Don't sit up. Don't stand. Sit. I want you to sit up and pray. Don't be like people that don't know how to value God. Throw away your pride. Open your mouth and pray. Those of you that need God the most, you are the most proud. Open your mouth, say something to God. Don't shut your mouth, don't keep quiet. Throw away pride, throw away your ego, throw away how much is in your account, and say, God, I need you. I'm not sufficient of myself. Somebody pray in the Holy Ghost. Pray. I want to hear you pray this morning. Sekopelia kambo brakapakato shikapa ekaponda likaponde sipa ekapakatu keponde seima epakatalapakatu shekamina menchekapakato. Give me power, oh God, over powers, over snakes, over scorpions, over the works of the enemy. Shakabalakatoma imbrakatokapunda epebembakato shekomina rebekatu shekambroko